I got this electrical dirt bike on a whim a couple months ago, and it's been an absolute blast.
Anytime I get on, I just slide up, you feel like a kid again. It's the coolest thing. But there's one thing that I've really wanted to do since before I even got it that I've just been too afraid to attempt, and that's just a steezy, real, proper wheelie. I see these kids going crazy online, just cruising in the sunset. They make it look so easy, but then I'll hop on my bike and I can't even comprehend it. I just lose all motivation to even try. But I want to get over that fear. Now, the legal textbook definition for a steezy wheelie in the state of California is that it must be at least 50 to 100 feet long, and you have to be in control the whole time. The closest I've gotten thus far to a wheelie is when I've put my bike into sport mode and just gassed it. It's more of an accidental front wheel liftoff from the sheer amount of torque this thing has, so it's not at all what I want. So I did some research, and I found that what I've been doing is called a power wheelie, and it's basically what I explained. You just go fast quick so that the front wheel lifts off. I found that what I want to achieve is called a balance point wheelie. That's where you actually find the balance point of your back wheel, and you can just stay in that sweet spot. All right, this is day one of training. Goal for today is gonna be to get the wheel up without going fast, but then put it right back down by pressing the rear brake. That's what I keep on hearing in like every tutorial, that you have to have a finger on the back brake so that if you start falling back, you should be able to press it and just come right back forward. Okay, that's a lot harder than it sounds. Okay, also to be fair, I'm trying this on the bigger version of the surron. The videos you see online, people are trying it on the little bikes. They're closer to the ground. I'm sure it's a lot less scary, but that's just an excuse. That's actually not bad. It's working. Like, I'm slamming the brake and I'm coming back down forward. I just want to go higher now. Balance point, balance point, balance point. Okay, you know what? I'll take that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take some chips off the table, lock in some profits, not get too greedy here, and just head home. I also think it was a really bad move to try and practice here because this dirt is super slippery. I feel like I definitely feel safer on concrete.
From the bottom now, we are a little bit higher from the bottom.
Learning to use the back brake to come down really helped my confidence. It no longer felt like I was gonna just fly off the back. So for day two, I set the goal of giving the bike another pump of throttle once my front wheel was up. I also just saw this tutorial where someone picked up their front wheel while having their feet planted, and I kind of want to try that. Oh, okay, that's a lot harder than it looks. I'm just gonna fully commit right now. I think I smacked the bike a little bit, but we up. All right, let me try to roll around. It is scary though to be up there. I can't imagine being up without having my feet planted. Okay, enough dilly-dallying. Day two, let's try some actual wheelies. Whenever I'd have my front wheel up even the slightest bit, I'd be scrambling to come back down. So I had to battle against my natural instinct. I don't know, I feel like I'm not making much progress here today. I can't get myself to do that second pump. But at least this concrete does feel a lot better. It feels safer than the dirt from yesterday. It doesn't feel like I'm gonna just slip out with my back wheel. I was doing everything my YouTube brethren were instructing me to do, squeezing the bike with my thighs, leaning back, looking at the horizon, but I think I just couldn't trick my brain into going faster while having my front wheel up. Chat, I don't know about this one. Might be time to cut my losses here and go back to the dropshipping videos. I don't know if I can do it. I just can't get myself to get that second pump in. I was feeling pretty discouraged after this session. It started to feel like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again without making any progress. So I once again turned to the forums and found out that I actually was doing something wrong. Turns out I have a ton of settings on that quite literally prevent wheelies. I have regenerative braking on, so every time I let go of the throttle, the bike automatically brakes to regenerate the battery, which would make sense why I can't stay up. Also, there's a feature called tilt control, which prevents you from tilting, which is exactly what I want to do. This completely changed the feel of the bike. I went in for some wheelie attempts and it was night and day compared to before. I could now get up on my back wheel without having to throttle right away to disengage the automatic brake, and so because of that, I had a second to balance out and throttle again. I also looked at some footage and I'm realizing that I don't think I'm pulling up on the bars hard enough. When I did the whole practice of planting my feet and picking the bike up, I was yanking the bars to get it upright. But on my real wheelie attempts, I'm really not pulling up all that hard. So I want to see see if that's an issue. Turning off all those settings combined with pulling up harder changed everything, and it got to the point where I could stay on my back wheel long enough to add some throttle.
Let's go, that was 3 pumps. Let's go. This is like the most progress I feel like I've made in this whole entire challenge.
I was getting more and more comfortable gassing the bike while being on the back wheel. However, this presented a new problem. Right, so I started to kind of get the front wheel up and going, but now once I'm up, I'm realizing that I can't actually really balance side to side.
So I saw this sneaky hack where you put your front wheel on something high and then try to balance side to side. Huh? I could see that helping.
Your hands don't look like this while you're eating your lunch. You must be a liberal sissy. Must be a sissy boy.
From here, I kept on getting outside whenever I got the chance, and although most days it felt like I wasn't making much progress, when I'd compared my first attempts to the latest, I could tell I was slowly improving, so I kept trying and tweaking my form every time. Very surprised to say this, but I put the bike into sport mode, and it's just so much easier to actually pop the front wheel back up, and it's so much more responsive. This is pretty ambitious, but I want to see if I can wheelie from this pole all the way to this tree today. Although after the first pump on most of these attempts, they turned into power wheelies where I was just brute forcing them by going way faster than I should have been, I did get kind of close. Honestly, I was just so hyped up, I didn't realize how long that stretch really was. Eventually, my camera ran out of storage, but I was fortunately able to download this footage off of my probation officer's body cam, which captured this solid attempt. I kept at it, and a few attempts later, all my work and effort culminated into this special moment. I crashed out pretty hard here. After the attempt, I let go of the handlebars to rest my left hand, and I accidentally jerked the throttle with my right hand unexpectedly, and being that I was in sport mode, that was enough torque to launch me off the bike at like 15 to 20 miles an hour. It was honestly a painful fall. I could really feel it in my left wrist and shoulder, my ankle swelled up, my elbows were burning from scraping the concrete. This situation really killed my morale. I'll admit I was pretty scared of my bike for the next few days. Honestly, I kind of thought this video was over, but after I gave my body a chance to heal and my blisters closed up again, I looked at some of the footage and I was just too hyped to give up on it now. I've decided I'm gonna go big. Tomorrow, I'm calling out the film crew and I'm gonna give it one more go. I'll either get a steezy sunset wheelie, notarized and documented by a third party, of course, or I'm just done with this. After that fall, I don't feel invincible on my bike anymore. It's been a couple of weeks here since the fall, and I still feel my wrist when I flex it at certain angles, but I just got back from the park where I tried to just pop up the bike a few times, and the angle that I have to pull in order to wheelie, my wrist doesn't hurt too bad. I know I at least have one more session in me, so I'm going for it. And the thing is, I didn't even fall during a wheelie. It was after the fact, due to my negligence. I was riding the bike with one hand. I got too comfortable.
They say when you want to kill an alligator, you kill it right after it eats.
The alligator was fed. Anyways, the legal definition once again for claiming an electric bike wheelie is 50 to 100 feet long. So tomorrow we ride at dawn. No, tomorrow we ride at dusk. Now, in order to evaluate whether the wheelie was steez, I've called up my homie Dan. He's definitely got a substantial amount of steez. So he's going to be the third party here on site evaluating whether or not the wheelie was or was not, in fact, steez. Okay, so from here to here is 50 feet. To have my front wheel up for 50 feet, I feel like you can't say that's an accidental front wheel liftoff type thing. If I can get this, I'm claiming wheelie. And after all that training, it was finally time. With the golden sun rays kissing the horizon and my hands gripping the now slightly crooked handlebars, feeling terrified into the core, I once more eased the throttle, feeling the connection between man, machine, and earth. A quick glance at the now half-gone brake lever reminded me of my mortality. But brushing that aside, with one swift pull, everything came together. I was flying, balanced on the edge of control and chaos, embracing the unknown. I pondered that life, much like a wheelie, is best lived with a touch of audacity and appreciation for the moments where you're just slightly out of control. Because that's where true adventure... Nah, trolls aside, it honestly felt great. There's something freeing to it, and I've really missed setting a physical, skill-based goal and then working to achieve it. As I was editing this video, my childhood best friend Alan kept coming to mind, as he actually passed away in a dirt biking accident about 5 years ago, so I want to dedicate this video to him. He helped me start this channel back in middle school, and even deeper than that, he really encouraged me to build a relationship with and come to God early in my life. He's just had an immensely positive impact on the whole trajectory of my life, and even though I had the chance, I never really got to thank him for that.